welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and on today's program we will be chatting with Dr. Wayne Westcott from the Exercise Science program at Quincy College. Help you keep those New Year's resolutions. First, though, as always, we'll check out the weather and the news for you this morning. Currently in Quincy, it's sunny and brisk out there, 18 degrees right now. That wind has got a bit of a bite to it. Highs today only in the mid-20s, but the wind will make it feel like it's in the single digits. Another frigid night tonight. Lows drop off into the lower teens. And kind of a wintry Saturday. Snow will arrive tomorrow afternoon, about 3 or 4 o'clock or so, and continue through the evening. Could accumulate 2 to 4 inches by the time it wraps up late tomorrow night. But Sunday looks pretty nice. Sun and clouds, a little milder. High Sunday into the low 40s. And a chilly on Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, but it will be sunny with a high Monday around 30 degrees. The rest of next week looks sunny but cold. Again, 18 in Quincy right now. In the news today, a man wanted for soliciting young girls for sex in Quincy turned himself in after seeing news reports about the incidents. 20-year-old Benjamin Chen of Quincy surrendered at the Quincy police station Monday and was charged with soliciting sex from a minor and accosting a person of the opposite sex. Police say Chen approached young girls on Taffrail Road in Germantown and on Coddington Street near Quincy High School last week. In one case, Chen reportedly got out of his car and chased after the girls. However, the girls escaped safely. Chen was released on $1,000 bail, ordered to stay away from girls 18 and under, except for blood relatives, remain on house arrest except for work, school, and doctors and lawyers appointments, and wear a GPS monitoring device. He is due back in court March 30th. The future of the former Beachcomber nightclub on Quincy Shore Drive hangs in limbo after the developers withdrew their plans for a 3-story building with a restaurant, function hall, and offices. The proposal was being reviewed by the State Department of Environmental Protection because the property sits below the flood zone. Neighbors worry that any developments will make an already flood-prone area around the Strand even worse. The developer had proposed creating an 89-space parking lot by paving a dirt area, but opponents said that would prevent floodwaters from being absorbed into the ground and inundate local neighborhoods. The developers say they are reviewing their plans, but they have withdrawn the proposal at this time. City of Quincy has its first director of tourism. Dagny Ashley was appointed to that newly created position recently. She'll work to create a year-round tourism program for Quincy. Ashley was director of tourism for the city of New Bedford for the past 7 years. She's also worked for the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, the Bristol County Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Southeastern Massachusetts Convention and Visitors Bureau. Ashley is a graduate of UMass Dartmouth, Lesley College, and Bristol Community College. Ashley's salary is funded through the hotel-motel tax. Well, there are 2 new members on the board of directors for Mannett Community Health Center of Quincy. Jane Casilius and Grace Murphy McAuliffe were recently appointed. During Mannett's annual meeting back in December, Casilius retired after 21 years as a nurse with the Quincy Public Schools. She's now a wellness instructor at the South Shore YMCA. And Murphy is director of finance for the Quincy Housing Authority and president of the Quincy Parks Conservancy. She has more than 25 years' experience in the world of finance. Mannett was founded back in 1979 as a nonprofit health center and now has 5 locations in Quincy, Taunton, and Hull. Well, the Quincy Democratic City Committee will be holding a day of service this coming Monday in recognition of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Volunteers will gather in the community room at Stop and Shop on Newport Avenue from 9 to 3 to prepare bagged lunches for Father Bill's and Mainspring homeless shelters. The volunteers with transportation are encouraged to help deliver those meals starting at 1 o'clock. This will be the 2nd year of the project. Last year, over 25 volunteers delivered over 200 meals to the shelter. And now that you're up to date with weather and news, let's check out our programming lineup for you for later on today here on Quincy Access Television. I'll start with a replay of this program Currently in Quincy at 5 o'clock. After that at 6, Sound Advice with attorney Tom Williams.
Hello, folks. I am attorney Tom Williams, and welcome to Sound Advice.
Then currently in Quincy, the interviews. Tonight at 6:30, we feature the Norfolk County RSVP program. Money Moments with the Quincy Credit Union at 7 o'clock. The topic, paying for college. 7:35, currently in Quincy, the interviews. We feature the National Fire Protection Association. Into the frying pan at 8 o'clock tonight. Barbara Isola's cooking up risotto. North Quincy High versus Durfee girls basketball from December 30th tonight at 8:30 on Channel 8.
No eye contact made there.
Then at 10 o'clock, Quincy High versus Plymouth North girls basketball from January 8th. Democracy Now! Tonight at 11 o'clock. Check out Channel 9 every day. You'll learn about Quincy City Department's different committee activities. That all starts at 5:30 with Quincy in Focus. Then Good Deeds at 6 p.m. with the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, the Year in Review. FYI from the Quincy Health Department at 6:30, and tonight's topic is measles. 7 o'clock, recent Quincy Emergency Management's annual meeting.
Sleeman, the Emergency Management Director for the City of Quincy.
And find out what's happening at your library for the rest of January at 9 o'clock on Channel 9.
Welcome to At Your Library.
Complete program schedule is available on our website, which is qatv.org. Just click on Program Schedule. Also, we always like to ask you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Don't forget, too, our weekly ad in the Quincy Sun. Coming up, we will take a check of some of the current events and activities featured right now in our electronic bulletin board on Channel 8 for you to know about. Please stay tuned. We're back with you in just 1 minute. Welcome back. Here is a check of some of the current events and activities we're showing right now in our electronic bulletin board on Channel 8 for you to know about. A community meeting about Quincy's 400th anniversary celebration will be held January 21st from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Kennedy Center. Everybody is invited to participate in the planning for the celebration that's coming up in 5 years. Quincy Art Association offering winter classes in oil paintings, pastels, watercolors, drawing, clay, ink, and a lot more. Visit their website, quincyartma.org, for information and to register for those classes. And a reminder, the Quincy Farmers Market has a winter market this year at the South Shore YMCA on Coddington Street. It's open every Friday from 11:30 to 3, offering produce, fish, meat, honey, and much more. Visit quincyfarmersmarket.com. And former Quincy City Councilor Joe Finn is the keynote speaker at this year's annual Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast, coming up this Monday at 9 o'clock in the cafeteria at Quincy High School. Finn's now the executive director of the Massachusetts Housing and Shelter Alliance in Boston. If you'd like to reserve tickets, call City Hall at 617-376-1500. And if you've got an event or an activity you'd like to promote, visit our website, qatv.org. Just download a bulletin board request form, fill it out, send it in, get that message up here on Channel 8 too. Coming up, we chat with Dr. Wayne Westcott of the Exercise Science program at Quincy College. That's next. Welcome back. It is, of course, that time of year when everybody's number one New Year's resolution is get fit, get healthy, lose weight. This is going to be the year. And Dr. Wayne Westcott is here from the Exercise Science program at Quincy College to help us do that. Again, hey, Wayne.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Honored to be here. You too, Joe.
This is great. This is getting to be an annual appearance about this time of year.
I know.
For you,
I'm honored.
Which I think
Thank
is
you.
wonderful, actually. I really do.
Thank
because
you very much.
It brings it down home. It brings it local. You know,
Right.
folks, I think
Yes.
you say, all right, what do I do? You know, where do I begin if I really do want to kind of change my lifestyle and start
Absolutely.
to live more healthy? You've been doing it, what, over 40 years now?
At least.
At least.
Yes.
You started when you were 10, right?
Right.
How long at Quincy College for you now? Have you been there?
Let's see, we actually started the program in 2006,
Oh,
so
all
it'll be
right.
about 14 years since we've been running the exercise science program.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And how's it been going?
It's going very well.
Yeah.
We have people of all ages. We have high school graduates. We have middle-aged. Our oldest graduated who's 70.
Wow.
And we've actually had people take courses in their 80s. So all ages can benefit from learning a little more about exercise science, and many people go into personal training, which is really important, especially for the older adult population.
Right, yeah, and it's important to receive that certification if you really want to get into that line of work,
Yes,
right?
we actually do teach somewhat towards the national certification. I had
Okay.
the privilege of writing chapters for several of the national certification textbooks. So they're going to pass the strength training component. We know that.
Okay.
But we cover all the other
Sure.
components as well. Yes.
Is it true? Do you see an influx of people about this time of year saying, you know, help me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are some of the common mistakes you think that they're making that you like try and change?
Well, actually, you get the credit for this, Joe, because in our discussion, you know, you've said this how you approached your own fitness is instead of focusing on the negative, focus on the positive. So if you're eating healthy foods, you probably won't be eating unhealthy foods.
Right.
And if you're doing appropriate exercise protocols, you probably won't be doing things that would be too much too soon, causing injury or discouragement. And you say, well, what do I really need to do? Tell me that, and then I'll let the other things fall into place. That's
Yeah.
the approach that we actually take.
And it's very individual, is it not, for each person? I mean, your goals are going to be different depending on
Right.
where you're
We-
starting.
We do always want to meet the objectives of the people we're training,
Yeah.
and they may be very different, as you said.
Yeah.
Some it's just getting in shape because their doctor told them they had to. Others, it's because they really want to change their lifestyle and be active and do outdoorsy things
Right.
on days that aren't quite as cold as today, at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, that's right.
And others, it is, well, I need to get in shape because I've got this coming up or that going on, or a wedding or something of that nature. But whatever it is, once people do start to make the move towards fitness, it tends to be very reinforcing, and they continue on and see even greater perspectives than what their original objectives may have been.
Yeah, and I'm guessing start small, right? Don't go for the gusto all at once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seeing small improvements periodically is, we think, the best motivation to continue.
Last time you were here, we talked about kind of your groundbreaking weight loss study that you had just concluded that really emphasized the need for protein in diets.
And you remembered
Oh,
that?
absolutely,
Oh my
sure.
goodness,
Yeah.
thank you. Yes, since that time, we have done one more. Actually, we did 3 studies on losing fat.
Okay.
I didn't say losing weight.
Right.
They did lose weight, but losing fat, because in all those studies, and these are 3 of very few studies that have shown that, they also added muscle, which reverses the loss of muscle that occurs at the rate of about 5 to 10 pounds per decade during the aging process.
Wow.
When people go on a normal diet, about 1/3 or even more of the weight loss is muscle.
Yeah.
When the muscle goes down, so does your resting metabolic rate, which is why about 95% of all successful weight loss participants regain that weight back, because the metabolism is so slow when they go back to normal eating. What used to be the right number of calories is now too many, and they just say, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Well, they don't realize they're losing muscle. So we include strength training along with a very modest, sensible diet and endurance exercise. But with the strength training, we've been able to show in all of our studies concurrent fat loss and muscle gain.
Okay.
And we're the only study that has shown that over 9 months of post-diet, when you go back to normal eating, not only no increase in body weight, but continuing to add muscle and lose fat, which balances out, which is
Okay.
really good. But this year, in those previous days, we used substitute meals. We used shakes for meal substitutes, which worked really well. This year, we did the same study, but with just normal eating, see if we could do it without doing substitute shakes. And the results were just as good in terms of the body composition changes, adding muscle, losing fat. But the compliance rate wasn't as good. I guess people that get used to the shakes, it's pretty easy. I just take a shake. I don't have to worry about all these things. So maybe they should start with shakes, then progress on to,
that's
to normal eating.
Actually. Well, and I think it's also indicative of how psychology plays into habits. It's more than just food and exercise, right? It's mindset. Yeah.
I know. And in our fast-paced society, I guess doing a shake, as long as it's a good shake, makes sense.
Yeah.
I do shakes for breakfast, to be honest with you. Every breakfast is a shake now because we had such good results with it that I said, I can do this, and it's pretty simple.
Yeah. You'd also mentioned last time about the hope to get funding for a study on diabetes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you for reminding me of that.
Sure.
We've been trying for the past year to get funding for diabetes, say pre-diabetes even, because in our previous studies we did look at blood sugar, HbA1c, and we saw remarkable improvements, but that was just kind of a side factor. We weren't looking at that particularly. We didn't recruit people that were pre-diabetic or diabetic. We were looking at general population. So we're still trying to get funding. It hasn't happened yet. We're hoping that it will soon. We'd love to do that study.
Okay, very good. Are the programs at Quincy College open to the public, the exercise science programs?
We have a fitness center. It's highly structured, very instructional, very highly supervised. We always have faculty on duty to work with them. That's their job. Their only job is to work with people that are in there one-on-one as much as they can. There's no charge for the personal training. It's kind of a family environment, and it's open to anyone who can come. They're welcome. It's a very well-equipped, fine facility.
Okay, it's interesting that I think people don't realize that.
Yes, even people in the building, President's Place, don't know we're there, and a lot of our students and faculty don't know we're there. We're in the basement, which is nice. It's very quiet and very private. But a lot of people don't even realize that we have a fitness center.
The latest and greatest fad, I guess you will, or craze, are these ads that we're inundated with featuring these interactive, workout regimes now with the specialized equipment, where you can, assign a subscription, I guess, and have somebody virtually exercise with you.
Right. Yes.
Is it important to have somebody help you? I mean, is that something that you think should be part of your routine?
In the old days, we used to recommend books, read the book. We wrote a lot of books, as you know. And then it was videos, watch the video, and we did a lot of videos. And now you've got someone there right in front of you in the mirror looking at you as you're exercising and modeling it. And I presume that works very well. I've always been big on reinforcement, sincere reinforcement, and feedback as to what you're doing. I'm not quite sure that happens to the degree that it would with an actual well-trained instructor watching and saying, maybe you should be doing this or that. Or I think you're overtraining a little bit. Or, can I check with you on what you've been eating? Are you sleeping? Those type of things. And really being able to answer those personal questions, which it all ties in together. The new emphasis is wellness, health and wellness, and that's important. I'm very specialized in fitness and even more so in the strength training. That's where we do all of our research studies. But in the general overview, all those things play an important role, as you know, and as I know. I just don't teach that. I teach the strength training.
Sure. You mentioned sleep. How important is that to your overall wellness, if you will?
To me personally, Joe, it is the most important factor. I have not done research on that. I'm not a sleep researcher. But to me, if I get my allotted amount of sleep, I have a good workout and I feel well and I can think better. If I don't, and I need a lot, unlike you, I need about 9 hours a night to function myself. I always have, and I think I probably always will. If I don't get that for a couple nights, boy, my strength training goes down, my endurance exercise is deficient, and my thinking is definitely not where it should be. So people need everybody's different, but once you have that routine, once you get out for more than a couple of days, everybody has to miss it once in a while. It affects you negatively, no question about it.
And you can't kind of make up for it over the weekends, can you?
I just read a big research study on that, and to some degree a little bit, but not entirely. It just doesn't work.
It's better to be in a regular pattern, I suppose.
Yes, and again, if you miss a day here and there, everybody does that. You travel and whatnot, and you're off.
What have you?
But if you start doing a regular change, it becomes an irregular result.
How do you know when you got a good workout? You know, I mean, how do you say, oh, I'm good, you know, I'm done, I can move on and come
Right.
back a second time? You know?
Part of it is simply how you feel, you know, while you're working out. That's subjective. But because we're in exercise science, we use a lot of objective means to do that.
Okay.
So in strength training, we use an 8 to 12 rule. When you can get to 12 repetitions with a given weight, 2 workouts in a row, you know that it's now safe and pretty much necessary to increase the resistance a little bit to continue to improve and to gain more muscle, more bone and strength, etc. In the endurance realm, when you're doing aerobic activity, we still use heart rate a lot. We think that's a perfect internal computer, and we like to stay within about 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate, which is your age subtracted from 220. That's your estimated maximum.
Oh.
So if you're 20 years of age, your maximum would be about 20. You want to be somewhere between 140 and 160. Once you can do that workout and you're dropping under 140, you say, well, it's time for me to increase either the duration, I can go longer, or the intensity. If you're on a bike, I can go from 100 watts to 125 watts, something of that nature.
Okay.
There's also the talk test if you like to work out with a partner. If you're doing, jogging or walking, and you can talk in short sentences, that's fine. If you can recite the Gettysburg Address, you need to go faster. But if you can't talk, if you only say, Joe, good, yeah, doing fine. If you can't talk, you're working harder than you
Too
really
much.
need to for health and
Interesting.
fitness.
Okay,
yes.
so all right, so not a lot of technology involved in that, right?
Right, so you got, but then the one that's in between
Yeah.
is they've got the perceived exertion scale, a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being, that's as hard as I can go, 1
Yeah.
being this is really easy, like we're just sitting here.
Right.
So you need to be generally around a 7. A 7, if you're an older adult, probably 7 is fine, 6, 7. If you're a young, fit person, a 7 to 8 would be fine, but a 7 would be about right in the middle.
Okay.
And that corresponds sort of to your 70 to 80% heart rate as well.
All right, okay. Curious about obesity among young people, Wayne, and whether or not you think more physical activity should be implemented in the daily school routine.
I certainly do. I've in the past I've been asked by the schools to represent that to the governor
Is that
because we've
right?
done so much research
Yeah.
on that in past years. Yes, through the Massachusetts Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, which is the physical educators. It is so important, and it's more important now than ever because students spend so much time with screens. If it's not the computer, it's the phone or the
Right.
television or whatever it might be.
Even in school now,
Yes,
not just out of
and
school.
and there's some intellectual benefits of that, but there's some physiological problems with that. They're not moving, and so the childhood obesity rate continues to increase, which is very sad because children who are obese tend to become adults who are obese. There's a
Okay.
very strong correlation.
Really, are there any studies or scientific evidence to indicate that it's genetic, that obesity is genetic?
Certainly
There
is.
is, right?
Yes. If both of your parents are overweight or obese, you have approximately an 80%
Oh,
chance.
wow.
You have to really work hard at it.
Okay.
If one parent, it's about a 40% chance of becoming obese. So there's what you can't change is
Yeah.
your genetics,
Yeah.
your inherited characteristics. What you can change is I'm going to be more active. I'm going to watch what I eat. I'm going to get appropriate sleep because if we get less sleep, that also contributes to weight gain.
Sure,
So they all
sure.
tie in together.
Yeah, yeah, and that's empowering, isn't it? When you say to yourself, "Oh, I do have some control over my destiny."
Right.
Some at least.
Yes,
Yeah.
my mother was always heavy. She had a lot of.
Oh,
she
really?
and I inherited from her probably more fat cells than I'd like to admit.
yeah.
But my dad was lean, so I had a 40% chance of being obese.
Okay.
But I, like you, I decided, hey, I don't want to go that route. I want to become active and eat really healthy and get appropriate sleep.
Yeah.
And so I was able to avoid that.
Yeah.
But I still have to, I have to remind myself.
Be mindful of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You started at a very young age. Do you mind if I ask how old are you, Wayne?
Oh my goodness, I'm in my 8th decade, Joe. Yeah,
You're 70?
Pretty soon be 71.
Going to be?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Like I said, you started when you were 10.
Thank you. Yeah, I probably started I really started when I was about 14 or 15.
Okay,
to
see,
take
that's
this
unusual,
seriously.
don't you think? I mean, teens today probably aren't thinking health and fitness.
There's such an emphasis on health and fitness
Yeah.
in our world, but in their world, I'm not so sure that
Yeah.
they see it yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they can learn about it certainly at the college. On their
Yes,
website
yes. We have a
is,
wonderful exercise science program
Yep.
that they can take one course or a one-year certificate program.
Yep.
or a 2-year associate's degree. We have articulation with other colleges. They move right on.
Right.
It's a really good school.
Yeah.
People don't realize that Quincy College offers such, not just in my field, but such actually nationally known programs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time as always, Wayne.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. So a happy and healthy New Year to you.
You too, Joe.
Thank you. Just enough time to take a look at the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Kind of sunny, windy, and cold out there. Temperatures just in the mid-20s. The wind making it feel a lot colder. Look at tonight, down to the lower teens again. It'll turn wintry here tomorrow with some snow in the afternoon and evening. Couple 3-4 inches possible, but start to melt on Sunday with temperatures in the low to mid-40s, and back to the cold weather again on Monday. Thanks again to Wayne Westcott for joining us from Quincy
Thank you,
College
Joe.
Exercise Science
Privilege.
Program. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. We're actually off on Monday for the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Next Friday, join us. Marie McCabe is here from the Good Neighbor Energy Fund on another edition of Currently in Quincy.